Okay, so here's a quick reminder of what we're doing. The first thing we do is take a peek at our data. So we go to select our data, we go to insert chart. Over here where the menu comes up, we want to choose scatter plot if it's not already chosen. We want to make sure we have an x-axis, which is the height, and the y-axis, which is the series. If that doesn't come up, you got to check to make sure this button down here is clicked, or you might have to put in the x and y-axis separately. So it looks like this is a parabola which opens sideways, which means we're not going to waste any time on it. This looks like y is proportional to the square root of x. So I'm going to delete this graph, and I'm going to copy my data table, and I'm going to paste it next door. I'm going to clobber the heights, and I'm going to write a formula. So the height, what I really want is the square root of the height. So this is going to be the square root of the height. So I'll put that in there to remind me. I'm going to write a formula. I'm going to take this cell over here. Actually, I want to type SQRT of this cell over here. So the formula I want is going to be the square root of B5. Square root of 0, 0. That's pretty easy. I'll copy that down. And just to check, let's find one I know. I know the square root of 4 is 2, so that looks good. So now I'm going to try to graph the square root of the height versus the velocity. So I'm going to go to Insert, Chart. Google guesses wrong, so I've got to go work on it. The type of chart is a scatter plot. So choose scatter plot. On the x-axis, I have the square root of h. On the y-axis, I have the velocity, and it looks like a nice straight line, so I'm doing good here. So to clean it up, you're going to put a title on there. Reminder, your title is not what Google gives you. You got to make up your own. It's the relationship between, and I'm going to put in what's on my y-axis, which is velocity, and what's on my x-axis, which is the height for a ball rolling down a hill. You have to have the context. Okay? The subtitle, I'm going to let you do. It is your name, the date, the assignment, and the period you have this class. So make sure you get those all in there, please. I'm done with the titles. Let's see. On the horizontal axis, I have the square root of the height, which was measured in meters. So it's the square root of height in meters. So that's the way we know it's a square root on the x-axis. And on the vertical axis, we have the velocity in meters per second. So that's already right on mine, but you need to change that if it's not on yours. Okay, to finish up, we go to series. We've got to get a trend line. The trend line fits the data very nicely. I can see the origin, 0, 0, so I don't need to mess with that. But if I didn't see the origin, I would go to horizontal axis and make the minimum 0. The equation of the line is found here under label. So if I go to use equation, I can see the slope is 4.46, and the intercept is negligible. So 4.46 is what I want. So now I'm going to go to custom, and I'm going to write my own equation. Y, the velocity, equals 4.46 times the x-axis, x, which is the square root of the height. So there's my mathematical model. If I go down a little bit more to legend, I can place that inside my chart. And I'm going to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to make it nice and bright. I'll make it blue, and I'll make it a little bigger here. So there's my mathematical model. Okay, the velocity equals 4.46 times the square root of the height. So what I'm looking for is that you have square root of height down here. You have velocity here. Your mathematical model is an equation. Y, which is the velocity, equals the slope times x. We're ignoring the intercept because it's pretty close to 0. We have a good title. We say the relationship between the velocity and you can say height or square root of height in the title. And you got to have a context and then your subtitle. And that's all done. You're going to take a screenshot of that graph, so make it nice and big for me. And let's see. It's about as good as I can get. And then I'm going to hold down Command, Shift, and 4, and I'll select just the graph, save it as a screenshot, and upload it to Canvas.